This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
Diddy! Here we go again. This is not a civil suit. We're talking about more federal charges. Finally.
I don't know what we're up to at this point. There's a lot, right?
There is. Obviously, he's no longer just facing allegations. He's facing five federal charges with 4 accusers and a mountain of legal trouble that keeps growing. The latest development, federal prosecutors just hit him with 2 new charges, bringing the total to 5. And they say the alleged trafficking didn't stop years ago. It was still happening last year, which is interesting because a lot of times in cases, in federal indictments, they work, front to back. So you keep finding more in the back and the back and the back. Back that ass up. And that sort of a thing. And Diddy, you look good. Won't you back that? Anyway, so I'm just going to go into song here at some point. But it's interesting that you have a new one on the front end because, they keep looking. They keep looking everywhere, and more evidence keeps coming to light. This new superseding indictment filed by a federal grand jury in Manhattan. Prosecutors allege that Combs used force, fraud, and coercion to compel a woman referred to as Victim 2 into commercial sex acts from 2021 through 2024. So up until last year, right up until I'm assuming he was busted. And It wasn't isolated either. Prosecutors say Combs also arranged for her and others, including commercial sex workers, to travel for prostitution over that same period of time. This builds on the original indictment from last September, which included charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. According to the government, it wasn't a man acting alone. This was an organized system. This is how you get the RICO charges going on, and how we haven't seen other people being charged yet, but oh my friends, it is coming. They say Combs used his money, power, and a circle of associates to coerce women into participating in drug-fueled sexual events he allegedly called the freak-offs. Think elite sex parties, but with allegedly non-consensual elements and reportedly drugs, threats, cameras rolling, and, the Diddy baby oil thing that no one really quite knows what the hell happened there. Yeah. Prosecutors also claim the racketeering conspiracy dates back 2 decades now, starting in 2004, not 2008. As previously stated, they're accusing Combs of trafficking 3 different victims and coercing a 4th, one of his own employees, into sexual activity. Out of the 4 women expected to testify, 3 are asking to remain anonymous at trial. The 4th, referred to as Victim 1, is reportedly prepared to testify under her own name. That's significant because it sends a message that at least one of these women is willing to stand in court and publicly accuse one of the most powerful figures, or was one of the most powerful figures in the music industry, of horrifying acts. And there's more. Combs' past actions are under scrutiny again. The indictment references that infamous 2016 hotel surveillance footage, the one where Combs is seen hitting and kicking Cassie, his then-girlfriend, in a Los Angeles hallway. Prosecutors allege that assault happened during one of those freak-offs. Combs' legal name? They're spinning it at a moment for a complex but consensual relationship. Interesting. It sounds like prosecutors are painting a pattern here. That's because they are, from allegedly dangling a woman over a balcony. To blackmail, arson, and physical violence. They're building a case that this wasn't just misconduct. It was systematic abuse of power stretching over decades. The January indictment alone mentioned that Combs once showed a gun during a kidnapping incident. And yet Combs is sticking to his not guilty plea. His team is actively trying to get at least one charge thrown out, specifically the one about allegedly flying a male escort across state lines to participate in those acts with him. and his partners. His attorney, Alexandra A.E. Shapiro, in the entire case, says the entire case hinges on the idea that this kind of consensual sex work somehow qualifies as a federal crime, and that's what they're pushing back against. As of now, Combs remains in custody at a federal jail in Brooklyn. His trial still scheduled for May 5th, with a final pretrial conference set for April 25th, where he's expected to be arraigned on the new charges. I don't know that we're going to see... I don't know if we're going to see this happen in a month. No.
This is a big case.
Yeah, just a little. Just a little.
I would bet, excuse me, my allergies are getting to me. On April 25th, they're going to ask for more time.
I'm going to guess it's going to come right down to the wire. Yeah, right down to the wire of when this is going to happen. If you need to cough, I can mute you, by the way.
I muted myself. Hopefully
Okay.
it works.
Okay.
If not, you heard me over here.
I heard one cough and I said, mute. Yep. So that worked. But I can visually see you now, so I can kind of tell, like, okay, gotta, yeah, it's like back in the studio days. We're like, oh, okay, I can, yeah. So, but yeah, this is, I should remind everyone, federal charges are very, 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 very different than the civil charges. You can say almost anything you want in a civil charge. And as we've seen, I mean, penis masks and everything else that we just went over the other day, it can get insane and completely out there. And of course, there's plenty that are legit as well, but anyone can file a civil charge if you get an attorney that will agree to file it for you. There's plenty that will file literally anything, including, penis masks. But whatever, everybody's a little different. You got some of the, Saul Goodmans of the world, Better Call Saul type characters, and you have some of the Tony Busby type characters of the world, and then you have, really big attorneys as well. It's all over the board on this. But when you have federal charges, none of that matters. Because the only way the feds are filing charges against you is if they know they will win. Because they have the goods on you. So you can rest assured that it's crazy because we've seen probably more than 100 civil charges filed now. I'm just guessing. I could be off, but we got to be close to that number. You have all of those, but you only have, 4 or 5 accusers here in the federal charges itself? And I would still expect that number to rise, but all you need is 1, quite honestly. 4 is, you're going down. Any more than that, I think, is just going to be icing on the cake for the feds. And the feds at some point also are going to say, we only have so many resources here. We believe we can take him down with this, and we don't have the time or the resources to spend on the other, hundreds. They will pick their strongest cases. They will vet them. They will determine. It's not to say they're not looking at the civil cases, though. They're probably vetting every single one of them, going, what do we got? What can we completely, without a doubt, prove happened? And that's what you see in these federal indictments.
Well, and I think it's interesting, too, the name of the podcast, this is Murder in the Morning, but you've got a channel called The Downfall of Diddy.
Yeah.
It really sums everything up because we have witnessed his fall from grace.
Yeah.
He was this huge music industry mogul, really. Like you said, they've got the goods on him. They would never waste the time.
Yeah.
The feds don't have time for this shit. And what they did, going in and seizing things, and they knew what they were after.
Yeah.
They did their due diligence and went, we know what we're looking for. We're going to go get it. Otherwise, they're not going to waste their time. They're not going to get embarrassed by this.
And they're not going to put themselves exactly in that sort of position where someone can go after them. Federal cases, that's why it took so long. That's why, if you remember, and it's interesting with the downfall of Diddy, which if you just want to follow the Diddy case, by the way, you can on any podcast platform. Just search the downfall of Diddy and you'll find our podcast there. There's hundreds of episodes, maybe into the thousands, I don't know. But we have a lot, and it's covering it literally day by day from the beginning going forward. So if you ever want like that super crazy deep dive of what happened every single day since the charges were brought against him, you can witness it in real time. It's like watching live television nonstop from a certain day. It's a lot of content, but you will go back and you'll look and you'll see that at the beginning, the charges were filed, but no arrest was made. He was not arrested until further. I'm sorry. The investigation began. His house was raided, but he was still free. I should say that. Then the charges eventually were filed. But the investigation was on, and it was ongoing, and everybody knew about it, including him and his kids, because his kids got escorted by, U.S. Marshals or Department of Homeland Security when they raided the house or the two houses. So that took months before they officially arrested him. So they made sure they got in there and they got whatever they needed to find. They pulled it out and they said, okay, it's time for you to go behind bars. And that's where he's been ever since. And will probably be for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I don't see this man getting out. I just don't.
I don't either. I'm surprised we haven't seen a trial extension at this point yet, or a stay, because we already had superseding indictments and they haven't pushed the trial date back yet. That's kind of interesting. But if he's going for a speedy trial, he has the right to do that. But there are other mechanisms that do exist where it could be extended even if he's not wanting it. Because of basically you put the new charges in there, you can reset the time clock, if you will. I'm hedging that he doesn't want to reset the time clock. I'm thinking he wants it just to keep going, because the sooner he can get out of this, or the sooner he can get this done, probably the better for him, and the less they can find on him, because time is only going to turn into more findings on this case.
Well, and the more people are going to come forward, the more empowered people are going to become, realizing that he can't do anything to them anymore.
Yeah.
People will come out, and not all of them will be telling the truth, but I would gander a good portion of them have a story to tell, and it's true. Could
you ever imagine this happening, like back when we were playing his music on the radio? We're like, I need a girl to ride. I need, that was Usher and Diddy, right? That was
I think so.
I Need a Girl Part 2. I remember adding that song, and then I think we did like a remote at like the Big Brothers Big Sisters Club or something, or it was some remote that we did that day.
Dance party, yeah.
It was weird. I remember that, and it's like, these are, and the funny part is, this was like 2000-ish, 2001. And I remember thinking back then, these are not appropriate songs to be playing at the Boys and Girls Club.
No, we played a lot of inappropriate songs.
Really kind of weird. And then like Nelly Hot in Here, so take off all your clothes, and it's like
song.
But and that was 25 years ago, and now we have WAP. I can't. Is there a Kids Bop version of WAP?
I'm not even going to bother to look that up. Although
there's always Kids Bop versions of popular songs.
Yeah, and some of them were like, what? Really? Okay.
I think there was a Kids Bop version of Hot in Here.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that.
I think there was. But could you...
This is your retro minute that we always throw in, isn't it? All right. Was there
a Kids Bop version of WAP? And if you're sitting there going, what's WAP? Who's the song? Who's the artist? It's Cardi B, or is it...
Wow. Now I'm going to sound old because
I will look that up. You look if there's a Kids Bop version of the song.
Megan Thee Stallion
and Cardi B.
Wet. No, Kids Bop did not produce an official version.
An official version. So there might be someone who did.
All right,
WAP.
just a second. Hang on. I've got something here.
WAP
not on WAP.
Okay.
Kids Bop. I forgot about that.
Again,
my keyboard is really loud.
We have a good audience of ours, especially on YouTube, that is, our age or older. And so if you're not down with the jams, I sound old. Down with the hottest hits.
Well, here, Billie Eilish, Bad Guy, one of my favorite songs. the lyric change that they made. Same title of Bad Guy, but they did change the line that said "might seduce your dad" type.
What did they change it to?
It doesn't say.
Oh, okay.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah, there's a
Shake It
lot.
Off, very close to the original. That wasn't a bad song.
Like shake, 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 shake it off.
Let's see.
I think I'm thinking of an older one, but no. To educate our audience that may not be aware of this song, and believe me, I at one time had to look it up too. Wet ass. Guess what the word P stands for? Yeah, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get the video flagged, but that's that's the name of the song. So your kids are dancing to at the at the school dances these days.
I wonder if Anaconda ever made it to Kids Bop.
At one point in time, I remember I was DJing. You know, where you're like out there actually like, and this is before like DJing where they're like beat mixing and everything. This is you're playing the songs back and forth, and it was at a Catholic high school, and it was their prom. And I was pulled aside by the nuns because I started playing non-edited versions of like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and that was bad at the time. I mean, now like Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart are, you know, collaborating left and right, and Snoop Dogg's like this American like figure of like. But I remember that was like, you can't play those songs, and you know what I did? I kept playing them.
Well, I'm surprised they understood the lyrics.
I had nuns that were giving me. I mean, I was probably damned to hell that night by a coven of nuns in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, at St. Mary Springs High School. So. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, honorable Kids Bop mention, TikTok by Kesha.
Okay.
The original lyric is, "Before I leave, brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack."
Well, it's not sexual. Okay.
"Before I leave, brush my teeth and then I go pack."
I wonder if you could take the Diddy indictment, like the actual text of the Diddy indictment, and make it a Kids Bop version.
Kids Bop it.
Oh my God, I'm going to do that with AI. The Kids Bop version. There's a series of videos right there. The Kids Bop version of federal indictments. Coming to our channel near you very, very soon. Check it out.
Craving non-stop true crime updates? Press subscribe now and get the latest cases, analysis, and expert commentary delivered straight to your feed, only from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.